Today, we're going to be talking about the best playbooks currently in MUT 25. I recorded the entire video, and you're going to see that in a moment after the intro. But one thing that I forgot to record and include in the video is the best route to go out there and get playbooks. And I know a lot of you know this probably already, but the best way to do it is not going to the auction house and buying the playbook that you want. You actually want to go over to item sets, go to your program tab, go to core set, and you're going to see one of the very first sets that are available here is going to be the base team item set. So all it requires is 370 to 79 overall players. In this situation, the majority of you hopefully are just going to have a couple 70s or 71s, but you put those 3 cards into the set. In return, you're going to get a pack that allows you to choose a bunch of different things. You got uniforms, stadiums, coaches, but we're going to be using this pack to get our playbooks out of, and it's a big fantasy pack. So the first decision you got to make here is, do you want to go playbook, stadium, coach, or uniform? And there's no alternate uniforms in here, by the way. You're going to go to the playbook option, and then it's going to allow you to choose between offense and defense, and depending on what playbook you're going for here, you're going to choose that side of the ball. So we'll go offense, and it's going to give you every playbook from every NFL team. Alternate playbooks are not in here, but we're only going to focus on team playbooks in the entire video that you're going to watch. But I wanted to put this part of the video in here because this is a common question that I get. People are searching for playbooks, they can't find them on the auction house. This is the best route to get them. Now enjoy the rest of the video. Yo, what's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the best playbooks that you should be using on offense and defense currently in MUT 25. We're going to call this the update for the month of February. Technically, I'm recording it and uploading it at the end of January, but by the time most of you watch it, it'll still be February, so don't get all technical on me in the comment section. That's exactly what we're doing. The last time we did one of these updates is like mid-December, so it's been a while. Playbooks have changed. EA added a ton of new plays into a bunch of the playbooks that are in the game as well. So let's go over all of it. We're going to be using huddle.gg/playbooks to show you everything and display the playbooks that you should be using. And I'm going to go to defense first because to me, it's pretty simple. If you want to disagree with me, you certainly can, but it really comes down to 2 different playbooks that I think have the majority of the best formations in the game. And the first one, just like last year, is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. So again, I'm just kind of going off of the meta defenses and not so much the actual plays, but the formations. There's always the same couple things that work from year to year to year. And right now, there's some really heavy pressure defenses, and then you got your dollar, which is really dime this year. So when it comes to those pressure defenses in the Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to find 3-4 under. That's right. People actually are running pinch buck O this year. This is normally a play you would just run against the computer over and over and over again to easily stop them when you're trying to beat solo challenges. But 3-4 under definitely can cause a lot of pressure out there with that pinch buck O if you're able to adjust with the cover 0 blitzes, and you can mix in a couple different zone coverages there with the cover 3 match, the cover 3 sky, you got the cover 2 invert. No type of cover 4 look from this one, which in my experience kind of seems like the best stock default defensive zone that you can run right now. I'm not a big zone guy. I run a ton of man coverage, but when I do go zone, it's usually cover 4. Now, the other extremely popular formation that you're going to find in this playbook and scheme overall is going to be the 6-1 defense. And again, you got the Sam Will blitz. You can see on huddle.gg. This is highlighted for a reason because they have different game plans out there that you can purchase from this website and view these. And it's obviously really, really popular. If you face this defense before, you know that it can be extremely stressful. In my experience, if you're going against this defense, the best way to slow it down, you're not going to stop it completely. You're still going to have to make the reads, but the best way to slow the defense down from a blitz perspective, whether they're running the Sam Will blitz, which is the man coverage version of it, or the cover 4 quarters, which they'll typically, these 2 guys on the outside that are in those flat zones, they'll typically blitz one or both of them to get that extended pressure, and then you still got basically a cover 4 shell. The best way to slow that down is to block your running back and half slide protect to the same side as the running back. The third extremely popular formation that you can find in the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be dime 3-2, which is basically dollar, and there's a bunch of different variations of this one, but most commonly you're going to be dealing with loop blitzes when it comes to this this one, and people have different ways of setting it up. You can go double safety go, which automatically brings those two safeties kind of down into the box, and then people will quickly audible the cover 4 drop, cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palm. So it's a good way to stop getting beat by seam streaks. And then also, again, I feel like cover 4 this year is probably the best default coverage shell. So you have a lot of versatility there, and then you're going to see, you know, people with like the cover 6 Willie, the palms, pretty much anything where you see one of the linebackers blitzing. This is how they're going to basically set up their loop blitz, to where the linebacker is going to run from the opposite side, kind of around your defensive line, and try to get to the quarterback. Again, I am no pro here when it comes to stopping this stuff, but the best way that I've been able to slow it down occasionally or from time to time, again, is going to be blocking your running back, and this time you're going to slide protect towards, but this time you're going to slide protect, and it's going to be a half slide again away from your running back. And then you also want to double team the defensive tackle. So 3 setups there to try to slow down those blitzes. But in the Chiefs, again, you got those 3 wildly popular formations. Now, to me, the best, most versatile playbook in the game on the defensive side is actually going to be the Minnesota Vikings, as this is a playbook that I've been in for several months now. And for many of the same reasons we just talked about, right? You got the 3-4 odd, so you can still go out there and run your pinch buck. Oh, but with 3-4 odd, in this book, you still have a cover 4 shell. You just got a lot more versatility. So we've already kind of talked about that in detail, but that's a big reason why I like this playbook, because you have that. You have the 6-1 that we talked about a moment ago in the Chiefs playbook, and then you have a bunch of stuff from nickel, including the double mug, right? So mid blitz is still a thing. It was wildly popular and much more overpowered earlier in the year, but I still run this defense from time to time. In my personal opinion, or with the way I play defense, it's been the best way for me to stop the majority of trips formations, so that's why I still run it out there. And of course, you can always mix that in with like the cover 1 hole, the cover 3 sky, the nickel dog 3 buzz. So as I go through these formations, you can see why I like the Vikings playbook so much, because it has everything that the Chiefs have for the most part, with a few exceptions, and then it has some more. I also really like nickel 3-3 cub in this Vikings playbook. Another reason why I went with this one over the Chiefs, the Mike Blitz 0. Again, I'm a big man coverage guy. This is a really good run defense. If you're getting hit with a lot of stretches, that blitzing middle linebacker, he just gets through a lot of the gaps there to stop the run, and you can let the AI control him to do that while you use one of the safeties to make sure that you don't get beat from a deep blitz. And then there's just a bunch of other ways that you can, scheme around that particular setup there with the cover 4 show 2 and whatnot. So with the dime 2-3 and then 3-2, they're kind of the same thing. There's also dime 1-4, and this is another really popular formation, and it's what I run probably 90% of the time on defense. And I personally like DB Sting. So this is the only version of Spinner, and if you remember playing in previous years, there was a play out of dollar called Spinner. I just really like this one because it's very uniform. You have 2 guys in the middle, 2 on the outside. You got your 4 coverage guys all in man coverage, but you can adjust to them a lot, and that's basically what I do based on what my opponent's doing. I'm not always just running this play stock, but what I like to do is go to the double safety go, which brings those safeties down in the box, and then I can audible the DB Sting, I can audible the cover 4 drop. If I want to try to do a loop blitz, which I'm not really good at and I don't do it too often, but you have the cross 3 fire there. So there's a lot of formations, or a lot of variations that you can do with the formation within the dime 1-4, and it's my personal favorite defense out there. Again, I want to reiterate, I am no pro. I'm a little bit above average. I'm the most mediocre gameplay on Twitch that you'll ever find there, but those are the playbooks that I like and the playbooks that I run. Now let's talk about what you're probably really curious, and that's going to be offense. So there's just a lot of good options out there. I don't think there's one, I get this question all the time, what's the best playbook on offense and defense? I don't think there's a singular answer. There's a lot of really good ones out there, and it's also dependent on what you are comfortable in. But if you're one of those people, and listen, I am not judging you at all for this, if you're one of those people that just wants to run the most popular playbook, it's actually, and this is no homer because I don't run this playbook and I usually don't every year, it's actually going to be the Eagles. If you take a look at the MCS playoffs that are ongoing right now as I'm recording this, and then leading into the Madden Bowl, a lot of the players are in the Eagles playbook, and funny enough, it's not because of trips, it's not because of bunch, it's not because of the tight formation, it's actually this normal Y off close. This is a really meta formation right now amongst a lot of the MCS pros. Some of it due to the auto motion plays that are out there, some of it's just due to formations. I can tell you the cheat flat X post is a really popular one. Now you can keep that auto motion where you see the tight end going from right to left and attack the flat there really quick, but I think what I've seen a lot of people do with the running back is put him on like a flat route. Your tight end would then go on some type of corner route. Stem down would be good as well, and then you got those two posts. You can put a streak on the guy on the same side as the tight end, and you know that in-breaking zig route is definitely huge, and you can find that in a lot of different playbooks this year, and it's really good to attack different coverages out there. So that's just one play, but if you go through and you watch the MCS playoffs or the Madden Bowl, if you see somebody in the Eagles playbook, they're most likely going to be running this normal Y-off close formation. And the playbook is not only good because of that, it also has the three popular formations that I talked about when you think about a tight formation, a bunch formation, and a trips formation. You got the bunch X nasty, which I particularly run in the Lions playbook, which we'll show you in a moment here, but there's a lot of really good plays in the Eagles version of it. Smash return is in a handful of playbooks like the Colts, and again, that in-breaking zig route is really good. You have a bunch of these auto motion plays. I absolutely love mesh spot in the Lions playbook. Drive wide corner is really good for underneath stuff. You can beat man and zone coverage with it. The double outs is a really good play. So you got a lot of good stuff out of bunch within the Eagles playbook. Like I said, you also have trips. This is just your standard trips tight end, but more auto motion. This curl flat play is unbelievably good to dice up opponents there in man or zone coverage. This cheat flood drive or divide, is really similar to a play that you're going to see in the Lions playbook, same as the cheat clear out seam. Of course, you have your standard verticals that you're pretty much always going to find in a trips formation. PA slot corner is really good. Also, another way to beat those loop blitzes is calling play action plays and then canceling the play action with R2 or right trigger on your Xbox controller as they go to do the fake handoff there. So that's also something to keep in mind, but really good trips, really good bunch in the Eagles formation. They got some tight formation stuff as well, more in-breaking zig routes here with wide receiver under and also the dig HB option. So to me, the most popular and really good playbook in the game right now is going to be the Eagles. And then I do want to go back to the Eagles really quick. This is a great way to show you how this website works as well. Remember how we talked about normal Y off close just being so good? Well, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it'll show you all of the other playbooks in the game that had that same exact formation. And another one that's really good and has been good for a long time going from start to finish of the year is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if you like to run a lot of tight formations or bunch, this one's for you, but it does also happen to have that extremely popular right now gun normal Y off close. Now, if we go and look at the rest of the playbook, this is one that I use for a handful of weeks. I'd say probably a little bit over a month because it has 3 different bunch formations and 4 different tight formations. If you like to run a lot of trips, this one's probably not going to be for you, but as you can see, there's bunch offset, and bunch wide nasty, and more auto motion plays. Those are the move right now. Cheat wheel post, I'm pretty sure John Beast ran this for a while. I don't know what he's in right now, but the auto motion in this one is extremely good, and then you can mix it up with the play directly to the left of it. Branch return is pretty similar to some of the other plays that we talked about, where you're going to see people slant or drag that inside bunch receiver, and then you got the backside in breaking zig route. You've probably faced it a million times, but also you have the outbreaking zig route within this formation along with verticals, which is always going to be popular. And like I said, guys, I'm not going to break down every play in every single playbook, but there's 3 different bunch formations full of auto motions and really good plays and just stuff that you're used to seeing within bunch. Smash return, vertical, Z spot, where you can get a flung concept out there. And if you like tight formations, there's 4 different options out there with tight flex, tight Y off weak, and then also tight open. Another one that's really good for bunch formations, and guys like Clef the God are still in this playbook and have been for a while, is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. So you got really primarily your bunch offset and then bunch strong nasty. Bunch offset in the Colts is the only playbook in the entire game that's going to have double post, which was really popular earlier in the year, really popular last year. You don't see too many people running it now these days, but it's still an extremely effective play, so you're going to run into it from time to time. And then again, in this playbook, you got the dig return with the outbreaking zig route. route. Same thing with bench pivot. Clef runs these two plays to perfection. And if you're going to do the same and you got your opponent, guarding that out-breaking zig route, well, then you got smash return that you can go to with the in-breaking Z-spot, and go, verts under, all very, very good formations to attack with the bunch. You got flood in there. A lot of just classic stuff that you're going to find in this playbook here. And you'll probably run into people who not only run bunch offset out of this formation, but will quickly audible and try to quick hike you to the bunch strong nasty, which is really, really good again this year. You got wide trail, you got all of these auto motion plays. The RPO read bubble has been really good. Smash angle was a good one. Motion China wheel is really good again with the in-breaking zig route. I was in this playbook for a very long time before I switched over to my current playbook, which is the Lions, but we're not going to get to that one just yet, because another one that's really good for bunch formations, and it has a tight formation in here as well, is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said the San Diego Chargers. I believe Abram is in this playbook still, but you have the bunch strong offset. If you happen to go back and forth between Madden 25 and College Football 25, this is basically the Michigan playbook as well. So you got corner strike is really, really good. Dagger is extremely good. Flood is good. And I think this is the only playbook. No, I lied. You got Cardinals and Bears. I was going to say there's not too many playbooks out there that have this flood play. The Bears is a pretty good playbook as well. But Chargers gives you the gun bunch off strong offset. Wow, I can't talk right now. With a lot of those plays that we just pointed out. And you also have the gun bunch nasty. This drive halfback under is something that's really good in College Football 25 as well. You got a few auto motion plays there, so definitely check out the Chargers if you like bunch formations. Gun bunch tight end has been extremely popular for many years, and you can find this one in the Seattle Seahawks offensive playbook. If you go back and forth between Madden and College Football, this is basically the Elise's formation is going to be the Alabama offensive playbook as well. And one of the more popular plays here is going to be whips, where you got the double outbreaking zig routes, and you don't need to have any type of hot route master or master tactician to get those. You got the RPO bubble and inside zone. Those can be a headache to defend. Inside switch, the PA verticals, the verts wide delay is basically, it's a verticals play, but a little bit different than you're used to seeing out of a normal bunch. But this is a really, really good formation, and this is a really good playbook that a lot of people are still out there using. If you like to run a lot of trips, to me, the best trips playbook, or at least one of the best, is still going to be the Green Bay Packers. And they also have, you got the bunch strong nasty, you got bunch strong offset, and bunch tight end. Like, there's a lot that you can do within this Green Bay Packers playbook, but ultimately Trey Y flex, trips tight end, and trips tight end offset weak are going to be some of the best ones out there. You also got the wide trips out there, tons of auto motion stuff, a lot of things where you got good stock routes. This Packer unders is a really, really good stock play out there. Stick and nod, even though it's a very newbie play, can be a headache to defend. Y corner with the two in routes, and then the outbreaking post route there, really, really good. I talked about curl flat earlier, really good play. It's also in this Packers playbook. Double in sail. Again, a lot of these things are just really basic drive posts, but they're very, very effective. You got play action plays that you can counter the loop blitz with. There's just a lot going on. This wide post is really good as well. I did kind of forget to mention there's a good trips formation in the Colts playbook as well. We mostly were focusing on a bunch within that one. And that will lead us to our final playbook that I want to go over. I will admit, in this entire video, I really only focus on passing plays, and that's kind of my fault there. I'm just not a big run guy, but I feel like you can find a lot of the same type of runs in pretty much any playbook. There's no run out there that I think gets like perfect blocking or anything. It's always just going to be, can you find a dive play, a stretch play, a 0-1 trap, an inside zone? You're going to find pretty much all of those in the same playbook. Me personally, I am in the Detroit Lions. This one was actually pretty popular a couple of months ago, and I feel like a lot of people have moved off of it, but when I switched over to it, I got really, really comfortable with it, and I'll probably stick to this playbook for a very long time, and it's mostly because a bunch X nasty here. This is the only formation for the most part that I run, and the plays that I run in it, I talked about drive, white corner, and mesh spot. Really, really love these plays. plays. The motion cross post is probably my favorite play, and when I play people who aren't extremely experienced or just not the greatest players in the world, this play I could run it the entire game, and if they can't stop it, they're usually going to quit. Mix that play in with the motion RPO zone alert. You can definitely throw a lot of pick sixes if you're not careful, but the guy motioning from right to left after the fake handoff, you can get usually a good 5 yards off of this one. I run it a lot on like 3rd and 5 when people don't think I'm passing. Technically is a pass, but it kind of looks like a run right off the rip there. It's got smash return with the in-breaking zig route. It's got Y option pivot for the out-breaking zig route there. Z-spot goal line, if we just streak that outside receiver who's on kind of like a little hook curl there. It's a really nice flood concept, and that quick post without having to stem it down. It kind of gets over the top of the shorter like hard flat zones, but underneath the deep blue zones that your opponent might be running. You got to be careful when you throw that one because it can get picked off. But all in all, I love this playbook simply for this formation alone, but it does also have a pretty good trips with trips tight end flex, and I think this is a really popular one earlier. Again, you don't see a ton of people running it. From time to time I do, but you got the motion wide post because you got the guy going from left to right, and he just goes on a streak, table route from the running back. The post is really good. The ends breaking zig route, if your user, if your opponent's user is chasing one of these other routes, that's usually going to be open. So you got that one out there. Halfback angle is really good. You can find something very similar, or if not the same exact play, in the Colts playbook that I talked about earlier. I don't visit this formation too often, but it definitely has some really, really good plays in there if you want to mix it up. From time to time, I will go into the gun tight open on this playbook. It's mostly if I see a player just sitting in stock cover 3 for most of the game and they don't have the greatest user. You can always go vertical HB burst, and you want to put this guy who kind of has an option route here over on the left on just a default streak, and normally one of these 2 streaks are going to be open. If they're in cover 2, pretty much everything will get open as long as your offensive line gives you some time there. But overall, I like the Detroit Lions playbook because of the bunch nasty there. It does have some pretty good run plays. I will go into single back, tight Y off flex, and literally just kind of cycle through 0-1 trap, which is a run up the middle, wide zone, which is basically a stretch going to the right, and then also the halfback zone weak going to the left gets some pretty good blocking occasionally. And if my opponent starts run committing when I'm in this formation, under Z curl is pretty good as well for a quick read on the drag, or if the corner route gets open, you got a streak there as well that breaks a little bit inward. So that's the playbook that I'm on. I think that's going to be it for the best playbooks in the game. I feel like I'm probably leaving 1 or 2 out, but those are going to be the most popular and the best ones that I've seen people run and ones that I've come across. I know like the Bills and the Bengals have been pretty good this year. Rams and Buccaneers, I think, were 2 playbooks that were beneficial to all of the new plays being added in, especially a lot of the auto motion stuff out there. So you guys let me know, are there any playbooks that I left out that you're rocking that I should let people know about next time I do this video? Leave it down below in the comment section, but hopefully the video helped. I know a lot of people have been asking about the best playbooks in the game. There you go. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.